Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
The Watch Your Opera House in Watch Your, Iowa presents The Boys in concert Saturday, February 22nd from 7 to 9 p.m. The Boys are a dynamic band fronted by twin brothers Lee and Adam Klett. They bring a traditional feel back to modern country music. Their catchy original music will have you dancing and singing along. Admission is a free will donation. For more information, go to watchyouroperahouse.org. It's The Boys this Saturday at the Watch Your Opera House.
Keokuk County Medical Clinic is your one-stop shop for healthcare. Our behavioral health providers offer a wide range of services to help you reach your goals. We have multiple family practice providers who see patients of all ages for acute and chronic care. Through a partnership with Bloom Pediatrics of Ottumwa, McKenna Bond, ARNP is here on Wednesday and Friday mornings to give your child the special care they need. Libby Dasso, PAC, is here for all your rheumatology needs. Jack's Corner Drug is located just down the hall for your convenience.
Life's better when you're under our roof. Because when you feel totally protected, your family's free to enjoy their dreams.
Try it again. You're getting the hang of this. Good job.
American Family Insurance.
Contact Christy Tarr in Oskaloosa at 641-673-8965. Schedule your next dental appointment with Dr. Dan Schuster at Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. They're accepting new patients. Oski Dental will file all of your insurance forms for you. They're a Delta dental provider. And Oski Dental is located at 902 South 17th Street in Oskaloosa. That's Oski Dental, 641-673-4845. We make smiles happen at Oski Dental. Yet again for another Real Talk here on Steve Shetler Media. It's Pastor Aaron Fleming and myself hanging out on a Monday evening. Aaron, what's going on?
Well, Steve, I feel dumb.
Oh no. Why?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a bad day in Aaron Town, so I thought I would just talk real about it, because not only do I feel dumb, I feel real dumb.
It'll be okay. Tell us about it.
Okay, I'll tell you about it. This is yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. This is an episode in things that we do that make us feel dumb. So later this week, I'm going to a pastor's conference down in Florida, and about a month ago, I bought my round trip airline tickets to fly out of Cedar Rapids on February 13, and then to fly home on February 18. So nice little round trip, Allegiant, super cheap, which is good for me.
Yeah,
I'm not a big budget flyer. It is one of my dreams to get invited up to first class someday.
Be fancy
and get free food and free drinks and be waited on hand and foot, and maybe even get those hot towels. Like I saw that in a movie once. Is that real? You've probably never flown first class either.
I think I've flown 3 times in my life, and yeah, I've never sniffed first class.
Okay, well, I haven't either, and but I have a friend who's a pilot for American Airlines. So like my dream is that someday I'll be going somewhere, and he'll be the pilot, and there will be a seat open in first class, and he will summon me to the high table, so to speak. And anyway, that's not what made me feel dumb. I mean, that's a great dream. I feel good about my dream. But last night, I went to check my itinerary to see what time I would be home on Tuesday the 18th. And I saw that I did indeed book a return flight for Tuesday the 18th. The 18th of March.
Oh. Dang.
Oh, man.
You didn't want to be gone that long. Huh?
I don't want to. I mean, I want to be in Florida for a month. That doesn't sound terrible, but I don't have a month of vacation, and I would kind of start to miss my wife. And
sure.
So also because I bought the cheapest ticket possible, like it's a non-refundable, non-transferable kind of a thing. So the best thing that I could do to improve the situation was to get what do you call them? A one-way ticket home on February 18th instead of March 18th, and that cost me an extra $130, which
You didn't have an extra $130 just laying around
I
to waste?
I don't usually just burn stacks of $100 bills and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess that wouldn't be a stack of $100 bills, but a $100 bill. Oh man, I felt so dumb. And I felt dumb all evening. I went to bed. When I closed my eyes, I felt dumb. When I woke up in the morning, I felt dumb. I just feel dumb.
That's a bummer.
But I suspect that I'm not the only person to ever feel that way. Have you ever felt dumb, Steve?
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm Steve Shetler. I've done plenty of dumb things. Lots and lots of dumb things. Yeah,
What's a dumb thing that you've done on air? Since you were on air in radio for 25, 28 years.
Yeah, about 30 years total. I was on the radio. I may have told this story before, but there's one time. This was early in my career where I had my headphones. I didn't realize that my microphone was still live. I hadn't clicked the button to turn my microphone off. And I was in the middle of a commercial break. So commercials were playing. My microphone was live. I was the only one in the studio. And I was probably this close to my microphone. And I just opened up my mouth and proceeded to let out the most thunderous, most volcanic belch that just erupted. I think my lips were probably even quivering as this belch was coming out of me.
Could you recreate that for us?
It's kind of like when Buddy the Elf chugs the 2 liter of soda on Elf and then lets out this belch. It was like that. It was just, and it was live on the radio. But it was mixed with the commercial. So the commercials were playing. And I just heard it in my headphones. And I knew it had gone out over the radio.
Did you hear from any alert callers or from your boss or anything?
I don't. Maybe it was 5 seconds or 5 to 10 seconds in time that nobody was listening to the radio. I don't know. Nobody said anything to me about it, so I think I got away with it. But it's probably one of my favorite radio stories to tell.
Oh my. I mean, I figure when you work in radio that long, sooner or later something like that is going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, so this is just kicking off the topic of things that you've done that make you feel dumb. And did you feel dumb all day then?
Yeah, I mean, of course, me being me, I thought it was kind of funny, but yes, it did make made me feel dumb at the time.
I'm sure we've all opened our mouth and said something dumb at different points in time. Oh boy, the longer we talk about this, the more dumb things we'll remember. I'm on a board for a nonprofit organization, and we had a meeting last weekend, and I said something dumb in a board. Just like, when a thought crosses your mind, and before you have the moment to pause, I said it, and I felt so dumb.
That's the beauty and the scary thing of doing like live anything. If you're speaking in person in front of a group or speaking on the radio, anything can happen. Your brain might cramp up on you, and you might forget the simplest things or say the wrong things. So,
yeah. Well, if you preach long enough, you're going to say something dumb from the pulpit. Yep. I can think of a couple of those. Here's another one. This is reaching way back in the memory banks, but back to before I was married. So we're talking 27, 28 years ago. And I grew up in a family. Well, my dad was a college English major, and he taught English for several years. And so we were readers and students of grammar. And honestly, we probably still are a little bit snobby about literature. I'll own that. But so I was either dating or engaged to Melissa already. And do you remember, did you ever see the Reader's Digest condensed books? Like they would take 4 full-length novels and condense them and pack them into one.
Yeah.
I made some disparaging, snobby comment about Reader's Digest books. And Melissa, who had not learned to say confrontational things yet, just said something like, maybe some people like those books. And all of a sudden, this red light went off in the back of my brain and started flashing. And I suddenly remembered the large shelf of Reader's Condensed Digest books in her parents' home.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if she read those, but I just suddenly realized I had insulted my girlfriend's whole family. And really for no reason. Like who cares if some people read condensed books? Like maybe they don't have as much time, or like even if they do, like who cares? Who cares? What on earth am I being so judgy for? And I just felt so dumb. I think I went back like 2 or 3 years ago and brought that up and apologized, but in the moment I just felt like such a nitwit. And oh man, dumb things we said or did in junior high.
Sure.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Let's stop going down this memory lane. This is getting worse in my mind.
We could go for an hour or two on this.
Yeah. And like we're not even talking about like heavy duty major life-changing decisions or sinful things or things that really blew up. I mean, like, you buy the wrong airplane ticket and $130 later, and that's but I've made larger financial mistakes. Oh man. Okay. Let's we need to move towards something more edifying, Steve. Okay, so we've been talking the last couple of weeks about the book of Joshua, and there's a story there after the fall of Jericho, that famous, the walls come tumbling down, and the ram's horn blowing and all that stuff. It's not too surprising, but some of the people in the promised land start to figure out that Joshua is just going to crush them. So there's a small town called Gibeon, and the people there are smarter than your average Canaanite. And so they realize we're not going to win this war militarily. So they devise a trick where they put a bunch of moldy bread in a bag, and they get these old worn out wineskins, and they put on their oldest, most raggedy clothes and these old worn out sandals, and they go to visit Joshua, and they're like, hey, we traveled here from a really long ways away to make a peace treaty with you. And we want to be friends. So will you swear an oath to be our allies? and Joshua and the people of Israel are like, well, I don't know. Sounds kind of shady. How do we know that you're actually from a long ways away? And then they're like, well, look at our bread. It's all moldy instead. And like literally this town is like maybe 10 miles away from where Joshua is camped.
Okay.
It is like you look at a map of Israel now, this is not a very big place. I think the nation of Israel is like 3 times the size of Keokuk County.
Okay.
And there's 7 million people living there. And then there's big open deserts. So I don't know. I don't even know where they put all the people.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's not a big place. Gibeon is not very far away. And so Joshua and the other leaders they're like, oh, wow, that bread is moldy. Oh, wow, your shoes are moldy. There's the only one way that could have happened is you must have come from 1,000 miles away. So sure. And so they swear an oath to have a peace treaty with this town. And then the people of Gibeon are like, psych. But now you can't break your oath because you swore to your God, so now you have to be nice to us. And man, I can only think that Joshua felt pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Probably felt
Loser.
Wait, do I have that back?
Yeah.
That's backwards. Loser. Do you remember this?
What's that?
That's triple Mega loser.
Oh.
Let's see. Triple. Mega. That's the loser. Speaking of middle school. Okay, so we're going to come back to this story in a little bit next week and another story because Joshua is actually going to learn and grow.
Okay.
That's exciting. Maybe we could do that too, Steve. But sometimes it's just really comforting to look at some Bible characters and say, oh man, they did dumb things too, and God hung in there with them and kept working with them and kept helping them grow and like look at the process of this character's life. And Joshua, there are a lot of Bible characters who did not finish well. We think of guys like Saul who did not finish well. Solomon, even though he was the wisest man in the world, figured out really dumb things to do, and Solomon doesn't finish well. Ahab doesn't finish well. Jezebel doesn't finish well. She gets tossed out of a tower and gets eaten by dogs. And wow, there's just a lot of. Somebody once did a study of all the leaders in the Bible and figured out that like 70% of them did not finish their lives well. But Joshua is one who learned from his mistakes and learned from the times of being dumb and finishes pretty well. So not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but so let's wrap up with an invitation to our listeners. Would you go ahead and if you've got a story about yourself being dumb, put it in the comment section and let us all enjoy your misery. And if you got a good testimony too about how God rescued you from being dumb, put that in there too, and we'll all cheer for God. But I think that's probably a good place to wrap up. We'll just mention that this episode was sponsored by New Life Community Church in Wellman, which is a pretty fun church, not a real giant church, so you can probably feel comfortable there. And we meet at the Parkside Activity Center in Wellman at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, and then we got a couple of different midweek activities. And our motto is God, friends, and fun, and we try to live up to that. So check us out if you're looking for a church in the Wellman area, and we'll see you around soon.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you next week. Aaron, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, you bet.
And we'll see you next Monday here on Real Talk.